I'm still dreaming about moving to another state. On today's video, we're going to talk about the top 10 things that I hate about living in Florida. A year and a half ago, I was so sick of living in Florida that I left. And I didn't come back to Florida because I wanted to. I came back because I didn't have any other option. Our move to Alabama was a tragic failure and a horrible one at that. While we were in Alabama, we traveled a lot. And since we've came back, we've also traveled. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's any other place for us other than Florida. So we're not here because we want to, we're here because we have to. And on this video, I'm going to discuss with you guys 10 things that I really hate about living in Florida. Before I left, I made a video of a top 10 list of things that I hated about living in Naples, Florida. That video got 400,000 views. When I left Florida, I was very discontent at the situation that I was in. I felt trapped. I felt like I was living the same day over and over again. I felt that I was in a very disadvantaged position. And after living in Alabama, I learned the real reason why I was in a disadvantaged position. Places in the United States where you can save money, live in an affordable place, and get ahead in life. And I also learned that I wasn't allowed to have those benefits because I was a minority. You ever wonder why people from, let's say, Arab background have to live in large cities? They don't live in large cities because they enjoy living in large cities. They too want to live in the suburbs. They too have enough money to buy a piece of land out in the woods. When they move to places like that, they get ran out. Learning that as a Hispanic, I had a few options that I could live in Florida, California, Texas, or New York. And when I moved to some other hick state in the middle of nowhere so I can save some money and do something better for my life, that I was going to get ran out of there. And I was lucky to escape with my life, let alone the material possessions that I came to Alabama with. Watching the news today, and in Fort Myers, Florida, where I live right now, police officers teamed up to plant on a person because they had a personal dislike for this person. And this person went up the road for like 20 years, I think is a mandatory minimum if you get caught with that. Well, there was an internal investigation, and they found out that the police officers planted that on that person. And this is in Fort Myers, Florida. Imagine the power the authority has in some small town in the middle of nowhere to get rid of you if they want to. Now, Latinos are not being killed in Alabama, but they are disappearing. They are being arrested. They are being disproportionately having car accidents, disproportionately having tragic accidents at work. You understand that as a Hispanic, you don't have the option to live wherever you want to in this country. You have to live where you're kind of allowed to. And the places where you're allowed to live are the places that are rigged up to be pure slavery. So you have to work and give 10 times harder when you're swimming in a pool and you're paddling 10 times harder than the next person, but the next person's getting further ahead of you because their arms are 10 times longer than yours. Because I'm an American citizen and I feel like I should be able to live in any state that I want to. But unfortunately, been designated that I have to live here in Florida. Now, if you want to step out of that safety zone and go live somewhere else, give your luck a try. Come to find out that obtaining wealth, obtaining bank accounts, and obtaining homes paid off doesn't mean anything in the United States if you're a minority. So I'm not here because I want to. I'm here for the relative safety that at least there are Hispanic communities out here. And go ahead and say I'm lying so I can block you off my channel. Number one is watching people get lost. I'm so tired of seeing people end up on drugs, end up homeless, end up with their marriages destroyed. They move down here and they think this is like whatever state they came from and that they're going to make it like they did wherever they came from. And they don't realize that this place is already rigged to make you fail. There's two classes of people in Florida, the rich and the people who are slaves to serve them. I can't even tell you how many people I've seen move to Florida. Next thing you know, their marriage goes to crap. Next thing you know, they're homeless. Next thing you know, they're on the streets on drugs. Their whole entire life gone to crap because they decided to come to Florida thinking that they were going to make a living here the way they did wherever they were before. Because number two, you just can't get ahead in Florida. If you come here with money, you're going to watch your bank account diminish by the day. We have spent over $100,000 in the last 6 months just trying to get back on our feet in Florida. Even people who come here to retire with $1 million, their net worth diminishes because this is the way Florida is set up to be. It's set up to drain your funds. So if you have aspirations for your future of saving money and doing things in your future, Florida is going to keep you living paycheck to paycheck for the rest of your life. And stop typing if you have money because you brought it from somewhere else. You didn't make it here. Because number 3, there are low wages. You would not believe how much money I made in a trailer in the middle of nowhere in Alabama. And over here in Florida, you go work for rich people that have houses on the beach and they act like they don't want to pay you, man. The vast majority of people in Florida don't want to pay you for your work. They want to exploit you for your money. I've seen it firsthand how I made more money in a beat up mobile home in Ottaguaville, Alabama in the middle of nowhere than I did working in Naples directly on the beach for billionaires. They make Toyota, Mazda, Mercedes-Benz, Honda, and a few other big names right there in Alabama. Small little hick towns in the middle of nowhere, and they have big companies. Because number 4, there's no help in Florida. When I lived in Alabama, the first of the month was a holiday. It was a sacred day for the people in Alabama to get their food stamps. Everybody had a disability. I was the only idiot working over there. I had somebody from New York in the comments section. Actually, I've had several people from New York in the comments section ask me if they can transfer their Section 8 to Florida. I'm like, honey, even the people that are from Florida can't get that crap. I'm like, hey, maybe you can rent your Section 8 apartment in New York City and use that to pay your rent in Florida. And make sure you keep your New York address so you can still get your food stamps. To give you a comparison, for $36, you can register a vehicle in Alabama. It costs $740 to do the same exact transaction in Florida. Number 5 is disrespect. People in Florida forget common courtesy. You know, when I first went to New Jersey and New York, I expected people up there to be very rude and disrespectful, but they weren't. Come to find out, it's not that people from New York and New Jersey are rude up there. It's that when they come down to Florida, they feel that they can do whatever they want and get away with it. Currently in Orlando, there is a serial road rage shooter in a black Mercedes-Benz, and they even have commercials on the radio telling people not to be jerks in traffic. Number 6 is the lack of infrastructure in Florida. Most cities that are growing have no expressways, no beltways, and if they do make a road, it's a toll road you have to pay for. The vast majority of people in Lehigh Acres are on well water and a septic tank. That's also infrastructure. I lived in a hill in Alabama, up a mountain, up and down valleys and up and up hills and back down up valleys and more hills and more valleys. Somehow those hicks managed to put water, city water, outside of city limits on that house that I had in Alabama. You know, in Lehigh Acres, bro, I live like in a city where there's 170,000 people and everybody's on well and septic. That's infrastructure. That's lack of infrastructure, really. How the crap does a city with 170,000 people in a place that's perfectly flat not have water to every single house from the city? Everybody's on well water. No infrastructure. Number 7 is scams and frauds. 30% of the stuff that I order to my house, maybe Amazon or whatever the crap, DoorDash, about 30% of stuff never shows up. Scamming and fraud is so massive in Florida. In Alabama, I paid $250 to have 2 cars and a house insured. When I moved back to Florida, I was paying almost $500 just to have 2 vehicles insured because according to the insurance company, there is so much fraud in the zip code that I live in that that's what it costs to insure a vehicle. If you pay attention closely, the cost of fraud, scams, and crime, as well as dishonest business practices, are going to set you back about $1,000 a month living in Florida. It's really discouraging seeing how shameless people can be. Number 8. Where's the flash card for number 8? Oh, somebody stole it? Okay, so there's no number 8. Number 8 was lack of investment. You know, when I traveled to Michigan, I went to Marquette, Michigan. Very isolated, way up there in the Michigan Peninsula. Look at it on a map. It's the middle of nowhere. And they have a Target, a Super Walmart, and a Mayor's. 3 things you cannot get in Lehigh Acres, even though our population is like 30 times bigger. Why? Because they don't put investment in Florida. And they stole the sign for number 8. Let's move on to number 9. Number 9 is I can't sleep in Florida. I don't know if it's how much sunshine we get here or how hot and humid it is, but when I lived in Alabama, I was able to sleep a lot better. And when I travel up north, I sleep a lot better because it's cooler weather, the humidity. I don't know what the crap it is, but right now it's 6 in the morning and I'm recording a video. I haven't even gone to sleep yet. And then I'll sleep throughout the whole day. When I lived back in Florida, my schedule was like that. Moved to Alabama, I got my sleeping in order. I moved back to Florida, and now my sleeping is totally out of whack. Not sure what it is. It could be that there's so much days of sunlight here that my natural internal melatonin clock isn't able to work. But whatever the case, I struggle to sleep in Florida, and I can't explain why. It's very weird how, like, here in Florida, people are more nocturnal, and how sleeping patterns in Florida are different. Weird observation, but it's very true. In Florida, you could go to like downtown on a Monday night while it's raining and there's people out and about. When I first went to Montgomery, Alabama on a Monday night and I was expecting downtown to be alive and the whole place was shut down, I was like, what the crap? These people are all sleeping already? Finally, number 10 is you can't leave Florida. Once you're stuck here, you are a prisoner for life. Even if you manage to escape for a year like I did, you'll be back. Look at Florida with 5. They're a great YouTube channel. They moved, I think, to Wisconsin, and then they came right back to Florida. We moved to Alabama. We came right back to Florida. And even now, when I think about the economical aspirations that I have of owning a home again, of saving money again, and not being broke again, like when I think about all that, I think about moving to like Tennessee or Georgia, some other place. And I understand, one, what we talked about at the beginning of the video. And apart from that, I miss my Latin food. I miss the beaches. I miss the sunlight. I miss the weather. And there's a lot of things that despite, me wanting to change all the crap, the traffic and the congestion and the expensive cost of housing and the fact you can't get ahead, I want to change all that. But when I think about my Latin food, my sunrise, my sunsets, all of the like Florida crap that you can't get anywhere else, like not having to deal with snow and all that, it's really hard. Like, and even now, when I know what's awaiting me on the other side, if I do move to another state, it's very hard to accept leaving Florida. So what happens to Florida is that it traps you. Once you're here, you understand you're not getting anywhere. You're not saving money. You're not getting ahead. But at the same time, you're not going to make the sacrifice to change it. And a lot of people are in that situation. And that's where I'm at right now, where I know it's not the most advantageous thing. I know I'm going to have to slave for other people. I know it's not going to be an easy ride. I know I'm not going to get ahead. I know I'm not going to save money. And I know that any future plans that I had to grow my net worth and all that are going to be stalled out. Despite all that, I'm okay with it because there's some things I'm just not willing to go without. And that's the thing about Florida, man. It really traps you. It's a really nasty thing. I'm starting to understand it better. Let me hear your thoughts and opinions about why you hate living in Florida. I know the other online lists talk about things like the weather, the humidity, the mosquitoes, the alligators. Oh no, the alligators. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to keep it that real, but I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I'm not going to sit here and talk about mosquitoes and humidity and all that crap. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it Leonardo 23rd. No, I'm just playing. I ain't going to keep it. I hope I don't end up over there. At least I'm in the nice side of Lehigh, y'all, for real. No, but for real, it really is kind of depressing to think about my future now that I'm in Florida. I mean, you enjoy it, but part of me is like, yo, this makes absolutely no sense. Like, something's telling me sell everything and buy a trailer in Tennessee. But that Cuban coffee, man, that Cuban steak sandwich, the rice and beans, the way they make it here in Fort Myers. I really did not want to leave Alabama. What I lost when I left Alabama, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on a mountain with a river out back, 100-foot trees, creek out back, man. When I left my house to come here in Florida and pay rent in Lehigh, bro, I feel like a nobody right now coming from that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel really hurt by what I lost. And eventually I am going to make that video you guys were asking me about what happened in Alabama. But, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. We've kind of covered a lot of it already on this channel. But it's a really tight situation to be in, and it hasn't been an easy ride. But we got to keep grinding along. Ain't no other way to do it.